I decided to wear the Connor Allen shirt, mostly just because I can. So sophomore year is over. I'm done. I'm halfway through college, which is more than slightly insane. So before I move out of the suite like all the other suite mates, I want to take this opportunity to take a metaphorical look back over my shoulder and tell you what I see in retrospect about, quite honestly, the worst school year of my life. On a post from December 17th, I defined the sophomore slump as the dull and uneventful year-long period many college students experience upon returning to their second year of school. It's not uncommonly accompanied by feelings of stress and anxiety brought about by factors including but not limited to choosing a major, taking really hard classes, living far away from friends, difficulty meeting new people, and finding bae. Now, I did not believe that I was going to experience the sophomore slump. At the end of my freshman year, I was like, yeah, I love this school, let's go, Stanford's the bomb, everything's gonna be fine. I got a good group of friends, I got people who care about me, yeah. What I didn't realize at the time was that the experience that I had had as a freshman was not really, Stanford, it was more being a freshman. Freshman year is filled with novelty. Look, it's a palm tree, red Solo cups, lecture halls, final exams. Everything is exciting and fresh and new, and for many people, freshman year is a lot about discovery and exploration of new classes and new people, and oftentimes of the self. Now, the university knows that freshman year is a huge adjustment from whatever you had before freshman year. And for some people that's private school or boarding school, and for some people that's public school. And for some people it's students coming from families that have never had a history of people going to college at all. So the university knows that after being dropped off on a college campus for the first time, adjusting to freshman year can be a really big challenge. And that is why the university has in place so many measures to facilitate that adjustment into university life. Namely, by equipping frosh dorms with the most dedicated, phenomenal, passionate staff and RFs, resident fellows, that a kid could ever ask for. They set the tone that your frosh dorm is going to be this great, big, loving community. I loved Larkin, my freshman year dorm. But then when you begin sophomore year, it feels like that entire support system is just ripped out from underneath you. I actually never even met a single one of my RAs in suites this year. Like, I wouldn't even know if I sat next to them in a class. So I spent the majority of my fall quarter pretty much just waiting. I was waiting for Stanford to start feeling like it did freshman year. I wasn't holding myself accountable for making myself feel like that. I was just waiting for my RAs or my friends or anyone to just swoop in and make it feel like home again. Yeah, I just waited. Right at the end of my fall quarter, I decided that I no longer wanted to be a communication major. I can go into further detail at a later time on why I wanted to switch my major. Just mention down below if that's something that you'd like to see. Ultimately, I felt like the communication major was too theoretical for my taste. I wanted my major to be a little bit more technical and quantitative. So I came back to school with two potential majors in mind. STS, or Science, Technology, and Society, or Symbolic Systems, which is a mix of computer science, philosophy, linguistics, and psychology. I truly and honestly believe that having to choose my major was the catalyst for the slump, etc. Now, everyone has to choose a major. There's absolutely no getting around it. And it's a worthwhile experience, but let me explain myself. In order to choose my major, I had to think about what I wanted to do after college. And in order to think about what I was doing after college, I had to think about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And in order to decide what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, as if that's not a daunting enough question for a barely 20-something to be asking herself, I had to consider what my life values are and whether or not those needed to change. So in this way, choosing my major kind of felt like choosing my entire life path. For a while, I was convinced that if I did not get a BS degree in a very technical major, there was no way I was getting a job after college. I was highly influenced by the fuzzy, techie divide at Stanford, which I talked about in a blog post called W for Wisdom. In the post, I was a little bit of a drama queen. The academic culture at Stanford University is hostile to the humanities. My passions for the humanities and social sciences are invalidated with every breath I take on this campus. I'm living in a place where my own peers can't help but look down on me and see me as inferior. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I don't know. I'm just a sophomore. Anyway, the point I was gonna try to make was that I think I might have blown this hierarchy of STEM at the top and humanities at the bottom slightly out of proportion in my mind. I spent all of winter quarter being very worried about what other people thought about me. For the first time, I felt like, I guess maybe I didn't really belong here. Maybe my admission was a mistake. Maybe I didn't deserve to get in. I wanted nothing more than to just validate myself, validate my entire existence at Stanford. This hub of genius in Silicon Valley, the tech capital of the world. My interests in culture and language and media and communication they didn't mesh with that. So my unhealthy dependence on others to make me feel validated meant that I had a severe drop in self-confidence during winter quarter because I was constantly looking to other people to make me feel smart. And I should have just been able to look and know that I'm just smart because I am. As I mentioned previously, I was trying out two majors, STS and SimSys. SimSys would be considered the more technical of the two, specifically because I would be pursuing a BA in media and communication if I did the STS degree, which, spoiler alert, I have decided to do. But let me tell you, I wrote out SimSys for a while, 8 weeks actually, and then on Thursday of week 8 out of the 10 weeks of winter quarter, one day before the drop deadline, I decided to withdraw from one of the core classes in the SimSys core, CS 103, Mathematical Foundations of Computing. I regret feeling this way, but for a short while I felt like withdrawing out of CS 103 was a sign of weakness. It took a phone conversation with my dad to literally just say, "But Catherine, you don't like math and science. You never have." For me to say, "Oh yeah." When I dropped that class, I also dropped the notion that I need immediate external approval from my peers in order to feel successful. However I decided to deal with this now was really gonna set the tone for how I was just gonna go about my life, and I didn't want to live a life where I'm just living how other people want me to live. Shout out to Shannon, who was there holding my hand the whole time. Literally holding my hand while I pressed the button. I came back to Stanford at the beginning of spring quarter feeling rejuvenated and relieved and centered and focused. I was ready to start believing in myself again, to start believing that the things I really cared about, like the things I actually cared about and the things I wrote about in my Stanford application that I wanted to study when I first got here, were really freaking cool things to study, even if not a lot of other people are studying them, here at least. Here. To be honest, I was just ready to stop hating Stanford for not giving me that hand-holding support that I wanted so badly. I was ready to start learning how to walk on my own. So I decided to make the best of my living situation. I got more involved in my extracurriculars. I ran on a slate to be junior class president. We won. I applied to be an RA in an all-frosh dorm. I got the job. Spring quarter, I spent more time and energy and units studying the things I really cared about, like how the news and entertainment media industries shape our perceptions of entire cultural groups. Ultimately, I did things that were much more me. Much more me than the logical foundations of computing. So I'm happy to put this year behind me, DR. As rough as this year was, it was a year of necessary growth. And to be honest, I gained a lot from not having my entire Stanford experience wrapped up in a pretty little bow and served to me on a silver platter. I had to learn how to seek out resources and how to ask for help and how to quit when that's what would be best for me. Yes, it's been a year of extraordinary growth, DR, but there is no way I am done growing yet. God, no, not even close. But for the first time in a long time, I am excited. Just truly, honestly, unequivocally excited for the challenges that lie ahead. So f me up, life! Go ahead, hit me with your best shot, because whatever you throw at me, I know that I have my family, my friends, and all my dear readers out there supporting me every step of the way. Oh, and just a heads up, I plan on making you my bitch. All my love, Cath. Dear reader, dear watcher, dear viewer, I hope that there was something in this video that you were able to take away. Also, for those of you who've been asking, yes, the My Sophomore Spring Quarter at Stanford video is on the way. Also, I just gotta do this. Shout out to whoever made this. It's very flattering. Alright guys, I hope you have great days. Love Frosh, love sophomores, love juniors, love seniors. Peace out and enjoy your life, I guess. I gotta come up with a catchier outro.